Welcome back to TableDropZone. My name is Lok.
And my name is Holger. And today we will analyze our 6th battle report, War of the Wolf Mechs.
And first of all, we will describe how we set up the table, the war zone.
Exactly. So generally this table was set up in a different way from what we usually do. We had a very well protected zone in the south with lots of cover and possibilities for mechs to go through, a giant forest in the center, and a small, more open field in the north. And what did this lead to? The battle was in the south. And we used the forest for hiding vulnerable mechs, etc. That was essentially what it boiled down to. But it was very interesting, right? We really shrunk down, like there was like a bottleneck effect for where the battle would take place, which made the battle very up close and personal, right?
Yeah, and I think like everything, we really build up the very concentrated war zone when all the mech fight each other at the same time.
Everything died in the same place. So let's talk about our armies. Look, please go ahead.
So this time I use my favorite army, the Pink Thunder, and I really like the character of the army, that the balance of power and the speech. With the two biggest star is the Timberwolf and the locust. So even the locust very tiny, but it's very fast and also very decent shooting ability. So it can move to the back of the shooting line, and it will destroy your army. Or other, I also love other mech in our armies is very balanced, and hopefully it can help to destroy your army.
So my army is an army I never played before. I just made it. I painted it in the scheme of the Blood Guard Keshik, and it's centered around the Dire Wolf, one of my favorite mechs. So the Dire Wolf is of course a tower in the battlefield. It's very strong, a lot of armor. It has some of the best weaponry in terms of strength in Alpha Strike. And so it's really a damage dealer that can also tank a lot. And so this was the main mech I centered around. The other one was the Fire Moth. The Fire Moth is, in this configuration, tremendously fast. The fastest mech I am aware of right now, but I could be wrong. Please comment below if I got this wrong. But I think it is at least one of the fastest ones in this configuration. In Alpha Strike, one of the fastest you can get. And it is so tremendously fast, it can actually traverse almost the complete terrain in one go, which is awesome. But it's also made of paper, so it cannot take any damage. And the idea was to use the Dire Wolf as kind of the blasting, front-focused, let's destroy everything kind of deal, and the Fire Moth to disturb the enemy lines from the back, and the other mechs to funnel and direct Lok's mechs into a certain position where they can then be taken out. So the other ones are very balanced out, they're not tremendously strong, they are decently fast, decently armored, and decently weaponized. And that's kind of the play here.
So it looked like we had the same strategy for the game, why really balance of speech and power.
Yeah, I mean the two armies are really quite well, quite even in their strategy. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, to make it very interesting.
The main difference is your thug, because that is a heavily armored one.
Yeah.
It doesn't deal much damage, but it's really like it can tank a lot, so it's very difficult to take down. Where I don't have a mech like that, but I have mechs that deal a bit more damage on the other hand, right? So that's kind of the I do more damage.
Yeah.
You can eat more damage. Let's talk about the first round.
Yeah. So I moved on the mech to the good position of halfly cover under behind the rock and the forest.
Yeah, so you could see already in the first round there was a rush towards this zone in the south. And accordingly I moved my mechs pretty much in the same way. My idea was to get the dire wolf up that mountain as fast as possible. Of course, he's very slow, so I couldn't do that in the first round. And the fire moth over the top to the back. So you can see it kind of in the forest at this point, where I made an intermediary stop to then go from there all the way to the other end, because you just couldn't cover the whole thing in one rush. So that was kind of the initial strategy here. However, I did not have initiative, so I was kind of on a difficulty here to not expose my strategy too early. At the end, the shooting, we both shot a little bit, but I missed a lot.
But not really successful. I only one hit of the Centurion. Yeah, only that.
Yeah, so my Centurion got a little bit of a scratch, but that's the end of the shooting in the first round.
Yeah, for second round it's very interesting because I won the initiative again. Because we are now very close, and the setup the position is very important for this round, because all very close and very fast to move to the fight. So I moved the team proof in very good shooting position, and can successfully move to locus to the back of the dire wolf.
Yeah, so I could not react, right? I was really due to the lack of initiative, in the active position here, and this led to me making a couple of very difficult decisions. I just kept on with my strategy, put the fire moth into a very good vantage position where it could oversee quite a bit of the terrain, but was also somewhat in partial cover to whatever Locke had been placing there. But of course I had to take a bit of a bitter pill there with getting the locust just into the back of the dire wolf. But yeah, the rest of the strategy stuck. I put the Centurion a bit in a safe position. It had indirect fire, so I would not lose too many shots. And we went on from there.
This round is really such a master shooting phase where all the mechs shoot each other. And from my side, I have some damage for my team wolf and black lander, and a small thing with my locust, but in general all my mech survive, and I think it's quite successful for me for this round.
Yeah, so my poor Stormcrow tanked. got a lot of damage there. Wolf also took a bit, but the timber was strong enough to withstand, so I wasn't too worried. I was extremely lucky with the fire moth. It did take just 1 point of damage out of all the shots fired at it. This opened up a lot of opportunities later for me. Else, I'm quite happy with the amount of damage I dealt. It could have been a lot better. I missed too much, definitely. Especially dire wolf did worse than I had hoped, with 8 shots actually missing pretty much everything. But yeah, this round was, let's say, quite evened out. So in this round you saw it really got up close at first. So there was like a mech essentially behind every mech. It was very close, but not close combat yet, but still close enough for a lot of short distance shots. And I had a lot of ideas in this round. So first of all, the Stormcrow needed to be in a position where it could do something with its last breath, assuming it would have that, and maybe have a chance of survival. So I put it into the forest. I took the Centurion out of the forest to deal more damage, to essentially replace the role I had originally for the Stormcrow, and confront the Phoenix Hawk in a very close combat match. The dire wolf, the idea was to sneak it around the corner at the back, to somehow participate in this battle without exposing it too much. And the Shadow Cat, I didn't want to put it where I put it, but I had to protect the Centurion from the Black Lanner, so I had no choice. And finally, the Fire Moth, I know that I had to put it in a position where it would essentially die, but I wanted to put it in a position where it could also deal sufficient damage before it went down.
So for my side, luckily once more time I won the initiative. So it's very advantage for me for this round to set up my army based on his movement. So I successfully put the Black Lander and Locust behind his enemy. That's why his also movement had to change. For example, with the Shadow Cat to protect the Centurion. My team move and the Top and the Phonic Hawk also in very good shooting position, and only the thing just like the 5 move behind my Phonic Hawk that I really not like happy. But on the other hand, my other mech also very good shooting position and also try to avoid the shooting range of a dire wolf. So with a very close combat for this round, I lost 3 mechs. The most like powerful one, my favorite one, Timberwolf, Phoenix Hawk, and Locust. Yeah, this is what it is because on the like short distance fighting and the Timberwolf already and the Locust already had the heavy damage from the previous round. So that's the result. I only have the Tuck and the Black Lantern.
For this round, I really dealt the decisive blow. I had a massive advantage in terms of max lost ratio. I had already anticipated to lose my Fire Moth and my Stormcrow, but I could take down 3 mechs was of course very fortunate for me. So this really worked out really well for me. My strategy worked out because I could protect my Centurion. My Shadow Cat did not take too much damage, and my Dire Wolf was basically still very functional. So I had 3 very alive mechs and only 2 dead ones, whereas on Log's End this looked a lot worse. 3 lost, 1 almost dead, and only 1 unscathed with a thug, which could not be much damage.
So this is the last round, and I only have 2 mechs against his 3 mechs. So the best result I can get for the game is just like try to get the draw. It means that I need to take down at least one of his mech and keep my 2 mech alive.
So this is pretty much the exact opposing situation to Battle Report 5.
You look happy.
So there's only one chance Log has, and that is the Shadow Cat. She has to destroy the Shadow Cat because the Centurion is out of reach, and the Dire Wolf is for sure not an option. And that means that the Thug has to deal either a critical hit or not miss a single shot. I would be able to win even then because my Dire Wolf would have the chance to destroy the Black Lantern with not even much dice luck. So at this point the outcome is looks very much in my favor.
So in the shooting phase, I shoot first because it only makes sense if I can kill one of his mech. But unfortunately, I didn't make it. So he won. No need to shoot anything for this round. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so there was a close combat situation with the Shadow Cat and the Black Lantern, which dealt 2 damage to the Shadow Cat, and then the Thug missed pretty much everything. And with that, it was a done deal. And yeah, I won.
What a game!
What a game. So close.
Actually, I really love the concept of how you set up the battlefield because it makes the game very intense in the small area where we can take our strategy and make it very, very fun to play and shooting.
It's a very condensed way, yet you still have a way to avoid the battle if you want to put a mech in a more secure position, or a slower way to get behind enemy lines. There's evasion ways. So this kind of setup was actually very, very interesting to play with, and it did not slow down gameplay. Quite the opposite. The second and third round got tremendously exciting. Really, that was really down to the wire on both sides. But yeah, I'm also extremely happy with how this turned out. It was a very, of course I won, but also because it was a very, very, very interesting game, especially starting mid of round 2. It really got very exciting, a very, very exciting game. My strategy as I had planned it worked out in a wonderful way, simply because the Firemoth managed to keep the Phoenix Hawk and the Thug out of the main game for long enough for me to get everything else into position. So the disruption by the Firemoth was really, really what made this work for me in the end. And also because the Firemoth could deal 4 damage to the for potentially, or even more potentially to the Timberwolf, right?
Yeah. Which
was a huge deal for taking down the Timberwolf. But I destroyed the Timberwolf with a critical hit, so there was also luck involved. I just want to put that out there, that me winning this, if the Timberwolf had been in there, I'm not sure how much of a difference it had made in the end, because it would have been very weak and the Black Liner would have fallen. But for sure another mech in the final round would have changed the dynamics at least a little bit. So maybe my Shadowcat would have died and the Black Liner would have died, and then there was still a win in there for me somewhere. Aside from that, I feel like the army compositions were, even though they look even, actually not that even, because the minimum advantage in speed and firing strength in the end really made a difference, because the way I could maneuver the Firemoth was more flexible than the way you could maneuver the Locust, right? Yeah,
for sure. It's all from us for this video today, and we hope you enjoy our analysis of our battle reports this time, and I hope that in the future we will bring up more interesting video for you guys, and you will still continue supporting us in the future.
Absolutely. Please do leave a comment below, like and share this video, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.